You want to level up and upgrade your photography. Have you wondered if you should get a dedicated camera or you should get a good smartphone which has a good camera? And this answer was easy a few years ago, but now it's getting more and more challenging. Why it was easy to answer a few years ago was that smartphones didn't have good cameras back then. But then, if you have a smartphone which is even a mid-range smartphone purchased in the last 4 years, 4 to 5 years, then this is a very tricky question to answer. Now, all things considered, we should remember that a dedicated camera will always give you better image quality, right? And that's a no-brainer. So let's leave that aside. There are certain situations in which a dedicated camera will be better. For example, in low light, or if you want to photograph things which are far away. Let's keep that out of the equation for now, for the sake of discussion. Let's think of 70 to 80% of the cases where you are in a situation where the light is decent and your subject is not too far away, and say you're not a professional. In those cases, should you opt for a good smartphone or should you opt for a dedicated camera? And I've been thinking about this topic, and I feel as of this recording, which is October of 2023, it all comes down to one thing. There is one advantage of having a dedicated camera, which you must keep in mind, and there is one advantage to having a smartphone, which you must keep in mind. And it is that factor which will help you decide which one to get. Now, me being a professional, I have the privilege of having both a dedicated camera and a smartphone which is decent. So for me, this doesn't apply. But then, when we have to take a decision for everyday use, this is something that I would love for you to consider. Now, it all boils down to this. What is more important for you? Is convenience more important for you, or is satisfaction and fulfillment in your creative process more important for you? So it all boils down to this. Let's talk about convenience. That is what the smartphone camera has. Smartphone cameras are super convenient, and now these days when you have really good image quality, combine that with convenience, it is a fantastic deal, right? Let me give you a few examples. The other day I was taking Shadow out in the morning, as we usually do when we get up. I am there with Shadow next to our house, and I turn to my right and there's an apartment there, and I see this beautiful morning light falling and great shadows being made. And then the neighborhood dog, he comes to hang around there, and he comes right in the frame. I'm like, wow, this looks like a very interesting frame. And I had my phone with me, so I quickly take my phone out and I grab a picture there. The power of convenience. And even everyday moments, right? Like say with my daughter, she's grabbing onto a chair, and again, the light is falling beautifully on her. And on the left of the frame, you see the silhouette of my wife. And that makes for good balance. And then you also see the light falling on the floor and bouncing off to the ceiling, right? Everyday moments which are compositionally good. The lighting is great. If you have your phone, you can quickly grab a picture which is of very good quality. You can actually make good prints with it. Again, other examples of family moments, quick moments where you don't have time to go and grab your camera. Convenience, my friends, is much more powerful than we think it is. Chase Jarvis, who was a photographer and who's a creative catalyst now, many years ago, he said this line, which has become part of common parlance these days. He said that the best camera is the one that you have with you. And he even wrote a book on it. And in those days, I think he had the iPhone 3GS or the iPhone 4 or something. And he made some good pictures with it, right? So the best camera is the one you have with you. So if convenience is top priority for you, combine that with good image quality, then the smartphone is the way to go. But now let's look at the other side. What about satisfaction and fulfillment? That is where a dedicated memory capturing device is important. This dedicated memory capturing device will give you the satisfaction and fulfillment that a smartphone won't give you. Again, here are some examples where, again, examples in the house. And that girl there is the daughter of our house help, and she's coming and playing with the daughter. And I had my Fujifilm X-T5 with me. I have time to set up the camera. I'm setting the shutter speed, the aperture, the ISO, and the focus, all these things, right? And I'm doing that, and I'm getting better image quality, mind you. But when the session is over, I have a sense of ownership of those pictures because I was involved in the process. So there's a sense of ownership and the sense of intentionality of making the picture. Right? I'm really involved in the process. Why is that important? Isn't just the end result important in a picture? No, intentionality and being involved in the process is important because that satisfies you in a way such that you feel like doing it again. If you want to improve your photography and your craft, if you want to put yourself in a position where you might want to do it again, then intentionality really matters because you can actually measure how you did and you can be involved in the process. So satisfaction and fulfillment is super important if you want to pick it up as a creative hobby, or you want to be involved in the craft, right? So that is, that's what it all comes down to. What is more important for you? Now, make no mistake, both are excellent options, and we live in times where we actually have no excuse, to not make memories of our everyday lives. Smartphones are wonderful. Cameras are wonderful too. Smartphones are giving us better and better image quality as we progress technologically, and cameras are becoming easier and easier to operate with, for us to give less input to get good pictures. So there is no excuse to not make pictures. And I have this hashtag which I developed many years ago, and on and off I use that. It's this hashtag go make photos, right? So there is no excuse, hashtag go make photos. But I would suggest, if you are considering buying a smartphone or buying a dedicated camera, this is what you should keep in mind. What is more important for you? Is convenience more important for you, or is satisfaction and fulfillment more important for you? And even if you end up buying a camera, I would suggest getting a camera which is not too big, because you will end up using that more often. Well, I think that's it for the thought for today, and this is what was in my mind, and it is out of my mind as we speak. And I wanted to ask about this style of content, which I'm naming as out of my mind. It is less refined. I'm not in my studio. I'm either walking or sitting in my house, or I'm in my car, and the delivery of content and the words is not as targeted as I hope it to be, and perhaps I am rambling a little bit. Do you like this style of more relaxed conversational stuff? Do you want me to include this along with my other more refined content? If yes, please let me know. If not, please let me know either. So then I can focus on one. Or should I do only this? That may be a little difficult. Should I do only this kind of content where it's more relaxed and quick? For me, how this helps is that it's less thinking and more doing. I have something in my mind, and now I can put it out of my mind to you, and hopefully this will be of some value to you. And thank you for watching. If you made it till the end, please let me know. And if you have any other thoughts on whether you recently purchased a camera or purchased a good smartphone, you let me know what was your thought process on that, and whether I have missed the mark. But again, as I said, at the end of the day, no excuses, go make photos.